Hey everybody, I thought I would make another quick video here about how I set up my paper for my drawings. It's been recommended quite a bit, so I thought I would do a video just explaining the whole thing and what my process is. So basically it starts out like every other time I do it. It's cleaning off my drafting table from the last project and then starting on the new one. So I'll just remove some of the dirty tape along the lip, and then I'll wipe down the surface with some soapy water and then just regular water, and then I'll dry it off before I start putting my next sheet of paper on. And now when it comes to my paper, that's where most people are asking. I get quite a lot of questions about what kind of paper I use, where to get it, and all of that stuff. So to be honest, the brand of paper, in my opinion, doesn't really matter. It should just be kind of what you like. When it comes to doing the scratching technique, it does have to be a thicker type of paper. So a common one that a lot of people can get and is pretty accessible is the Strathmore 400 series, the 4-ply paper. I use I guess it's kind of a Bristol paper, so it is quite thick. And that's the biggest thing, is when you do the scratching technique, you can't use like a normal type of drawing paper or like a printer paper. It's very thin and you'll end up damaging the paper and you won't be able to do the indentations. So if that is what you're going for and what you want to do, getting something that's quite thick, usually if you pick it up and it feels very stiff, then it should be okay. But if it's very flimsy and floppy, then it might not work very well. So that's just kind of like an easy way to do it. I don't actually pay attention to what the GSM of the paper is, or what the weight of the paper is, or anything like that. It's mostly just by feel. And if it feels thick, then it'll be good it should be okay for that. For some of my larger sheets of paper that I use, like for instance, the horse one I just finished, that one's 30 by 40 inches, so it's quite large. And for that, I actually use a lot of times, it's a picture frame matte paper. So the paper that you put on the inside of picture frames when you're framing your artwork, that's the type of paper I use. Now, it's not that rough. I do have to look for ones that are more smooth that I can draw on, but that's the type of paper that it is. So what you just saw me doing there is I cut out the paper to the size that I needed, and then I started marking down every inch along the paper. I always leave a 1/4 inch on every side, just so that when I do frame it, I have a little bit more wiggle room. But I start marking down every inch because that will be how I set up for my grid. So now I've done some of the lines across, so gridding from one end to the other end, and then now I'm numbering it from 1 to whatever height it is for this picture. So I'll mark it from the bottom square. I'll go 1, then 2, 3, all the way up to, I think this one's 36, and then I'll do both up and then from left to right. And so by numbering the paper, what it does is it helps me find reference points while I'm drawing and sketching it out. So by doing a grid pattern, and then I'll be able to number it. You'll see it later in the video. I'm able to put reference points that match my reference photo. So everything that I do on my paper, I'm doing the exact same thing on my reference photo so that I can get accuracy. And here I just finished putting, this is just painter's tape. I cover the whole back of the paper with painter's tape. I find it doesn't stick too bad to the paper to where it starts tearing the paper off when I remove it, but it's sticky enough so it stays upright. I have my drafting table almost at 90 degrees while I draw, so I do need it to stay put. So here I'm just giving it a little bit of a press down to make sure that it's sticking, and then I'll go over it with my with some parchment paper, and then I'll press it down thoroughly to make sure it's on there properly. And now I'm putting those reference points. So basically it's a XY axis that I'm doing, and then if it's, let's say, 5 inches or 5 squares to the left, and then 20 squares up, I'll do 5 comma and then the number 20, just so that I can match it to my reference photo, which will have the exact same marks in the same place. And then when I'm actually doing the sketch, I can match it a little bit more closely without having to count each time. So usually I'll put those numbers in important places, so in like the corner of the eye, corner of the mouth, middle of the nose, corner of the nose, at the eyebrows, around the outside of the head or the ears, stuff like that, just so that I can find the spots that need a little bit more precision, and then I can put them there, and then it just helps me find where I am, and it saves me a little bit of time. Overall, I would say it's pretty straightforward. It's just cutting out the paper to the size that you need, marking down the lines for the grid, making the grid, and then adding a few reference points throughout the drawing to match to your reference, just so that you can gain accuracy and then also speed up the process a little bit. I would also just like to mention again that the brand of paper doesn't really matter too much in the end. What's important is that you find it's a texture that you actually like and you can draw on, and you find that it suits your style pretty well. You want to make sure that it's acid-free paper. If you can find 100% cotton paper, that's also really good. But overall, just find what's available to you. What's available to me isn't necessarily going to be available to you. So just find something that works and try it out. I've gone through many different types of paper to find what I like. So just, it's something that you're going to have to try and figure it out for yourself as well. Well, I hope you all found this video useful. If you have any questions, or if you have any ideas for any other tutorials or informational videos, please let me know and I'll try to make some. I've been thinking about making more tutorials, so give me some ideas what you guys would like to see. And thank you for watching, and take care.